All right, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Welcome once more to another live stream of Alexandra Mayer's Live. A true, solid Alexandra Mayer's Live, just some thoughts. I've been working on waking up very early in the morning nowadays because I feel better doing so. I've been doing so with the intention of getting a lot more personal work done when it comes to what I consider and compartmentalize into be my personal professional life. And to an extent, it's working out, but because I'm choosing to open some gateways to some new, alien yet familiar energies, it's not always working out according to my plan. It's working out, I would suppose, according to God's plan, which is just fine. I will accept that. I will deal with that. As many of you know, I walk hand in hand with Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Jesus Christ is my favorite kind of guy. Always has been, always will be. Um, very grateful to at least be aware of Jesus Christ, because many people are not. And I probably don't know as many details about the story of Jesus Christ as I should, and I'm going to rectify that by reading the Bible and Bible books and passages and whatnot quite a bit more, especially over the next month or more, or maybe even the rest of my life. Because I'm going to have to. I never set out on the path to be a spiritual warrior. It just kind of happened over the years. I've had many awakenings as to that when it came to the very first job I ever had when I was going to Florida Atlantic University. First real job outside of a shopping mall, to taking some rather unconventional paths later on that led me back to Christianity and Jesus Christ. Even to now, whereas I'm seeing some alternatives to Christianity and Jesus Christ that are reawakening that sense within me yet again. All of this is fine. It's just my path. I've been very fortunate along the way to not only have my mother, who instilled Christianity in me when I was a young girl, to my father. I remember when I was a little girl, him watching over and over again the Ten Commandments. His favorite part is when Moses climbs the mountain and God gives him the Ten Commandments, and the fire comes from the sky and writes them into the stone. I even like the modern day cartoon version of that particular Bible story. It means a lot to me. So I felt like coming on here today because I needed to record my thoughts, not only for myself, but for those of you out there who care about me the most, namely my mom, my dad, my sister, my nephew, other people, my friend Crystal, especially. She's very in the spiritual world and she's known me for a long time. I've known her for a long time. I need to get back up to Washington to hang out with her again sometime very soon. Very, 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 very soon. There was a task that she asked if I would embark in down here, but I don't feel like it's right for me to take on that task because I don't know the girl or the situation enough that it revolves around. If worse comes to worse and I'm led to take on the task, I will, but I don't think I need to. I think it'll be just fine. But I just came on today because I wanted to share a few thoughts in regards to a few gateways that have opened for me. One gateway I've chosen to go ahead and traverse into and down. It's a pathway, it's a roadway. I need to learn the language of the land a little bit better first, and I will. It's coming to me. I've had almost 2 years to learn it, considering some things I've researched and some investigative independent blogging that I've done in regards to it. But a lot of the language does come through the musical artist of this particular group of people. So I'm immersing myself in that while I'm doing my regular work today. After I do this podcast, I'll be doing that the rest of the night. Hey, Anthony, how are you doing? You're one of my longtime friends that I'm talking to today. I figured you would come in here. Good to see you. Good to see you. Someone in the chat is saying that there are tapes of the Bible I can listen to. I don't need tapes. Trust me on that. I actually prefer, even though I have more of an audiographic memory, I prefer reading eye to print the word. Namely because I don't like the word to be tainted by any particular tone or voice. I am very sensitive to sound, extremely so. So I'm very careful about what sounds I allow enter my ears, and hence soul and spirit. Very, very, very careful about that. So, the gateway that I'm going to be traversing is a gateway that has been permeated with what I suppose many would consider quite the level of darkness. Yeah. And I've seen it before. It's not the first time. I've seen it before. I actually grew up with it. I was born into a little bit of it. I suppose that was meant to be, to prepare me for this particular journey. I've seen it in quite a few of the arenas that I've socialized in and worked within, but now I'm seeing it point blank, definable. It's definable. I'm not going to say what you would need to look at, but if you follow one of my particular projects, you will see that this particular form of darkness has actually been chronicled by writers on FBI.gov. I couldn't believe that on the FBI website they actually used the term evil. That's how bad it is. Generally, the government is pretty, middle of the road, pretty impartial when it comes to good and evil, but for the government to have to say evil when it comes to something to where they're training their agents to familiarize themselves with the goddamn symbology, it's bad. And they print this stuff for the public, specifically for people like myself who are not officially a part of their organization or their agency, but who they are familiar with and who they know are going to find it. Because just as I'm looking at their website, they are looking at mine. They've been looking at me for a long time. And I do not work for the FBI, not to my knowledge at least. But they're very familiar with me. Oh, gosh. Hi, Sharon. How are you doing? Yeah, I have been working, haven't I? Yeah. So, I'll tell you something funny, right? One of the individuals involved in this particular situation that I decided to go ahead and enter and look at, because not many people can. I've already had people open that gateway for me, including Mr. Ski Mask Andy. God. He was my entrance to that first certain community to begin with. And here he is again, being the quintessential source of information. I'll tell you what the problem is. Nobody believed him. I feel so bad for that young man. I really do. He's one of those people who's so good that he's bad. It happens sometimes. He's so good that he's bad, which is probably why God put him on my path and God put me on his path. It's just like that sometimes. We all do. All of us who know what's what, we all like him a lot. He's a good person, a very good person. It's good to know a good person. At least for me, I'm going to tell y'all something. One of my greatest challenges as a woman, from a young woman to even a middle-aged woman right now, has been deciphering the difference between having a nice platonic friendship with a man versus the want for something more. You know? It's a hard thing to decipher for some people, especially being that I've, been thrown, at least at one point in my life, into an arena to where those lines are consistently blurred. But I can honestly say, when it comes to my appreciation for the kind of an artist that Ski Mask Andy is, and the kind of a person he is, that's always been platonic, and I enjoy having that. I like having that distance. I enjoy having that meeting of the minds with ideas, but without there being any sort of inclination of romantic expectation or wanting or yearning. It's nice. Oh, it's nice. It's refreshing. Actually, when I met him, I did a little bit of acting just to keep some stuff going because I knew people were looking at the streams and people thought it was real, and that's how I knew I was a great actress. Yeah, well, you have to remember that Ski Mask is a character. The actor who portrays that, which is who I'm really talking about, is a completely different person and exceedingly intelligent, and who has not been done right in this life. And the fact that he's kind of trapped within the community that's permeated with this darkness that I'm just now seeing the reality of, it's so sad. It's tragic. And being that I have a certain linkage to this particular community now because of things that I've noticed, not only in regards to him, but how it's linked to other areas of my life. I can't, unless the only thing that could create a miracle or enough energy to clear out some things, that would have to come through Jesus Christ via God, okay? But you got people in that community who are under the belief that they are as powerful as a God. I mean, I've seen it before. I've seen it in the adult entertainment industry. I've seen it in other arenas. I mean, again, we got to go back to that story of Moses having to climb that mountain to get the freaking 10 Commandments to let the people know, will you please stop making a false idol? Look, there's a higher power. It's real. You don't need a false idol. You don't need these weird systems and stuff to pray to. I mean, it's your choice. You can do whatever you want. Do what works for you. But in the end, it's going to come through the meaning of a message sent that you didn't come up with. And I'm talking about God. Solid God. The Christian God. And the Christian God is what unites the majority of the religions. Even if you want to go back into paganism, God was still there. So if you want to be a little witch, be like, hey, I'm a witch. Okay, fine, be a witch. You got a certain natural ability. I mean, when you look at a lot of, witchcraft, genuine, authentic witchcraft, it's still coming from God. Some people have other abilities. Some people have more than 5 senses. This all comes down through evolution. But just because you're able to manipulate energy, it does not mean that there's no God. It's not all coming from you. Something created you. And you have to acknowledge that, respect other people's beliefs, and go forward. The friend of mine that I mentioned earlier, she's into things that I know are real, but that I don't adhere to. But we get along because we both acknowledge a certain thing. I know Satanists. I'm friends with a certain Satanist. And I don't agree with anything that, well, quite a bit of what he thinks. I agree with, I'd say, about 7 solid points. But when it comes down to it, we do believe in the same thing, but we look at it from different perspectives. But with me, I like to walk in the light. I like to be good. Works best for me, makes me feel the best. I love Christianity. I like being a Christian. I love Jesus Christ. I like crosses. I look at crosses. I surround myself with crosses. And that's me. So anyway, I was familiarized recently through someone who has been trying to draw me into their little world. And they're not doing the right thing. And they drew me in under false pretenses. I'm a bit upset about that, but it's okay because at least I recognized it. But he has quite the musical taste. And there's one song in particular by an artist known as Ghost Meme. And the song, I don't know what the song is called, but the first few lyrics go, "Take 7 steps back." It really resonated with me. I was like, yes, please, give me some space. Take 7 steps back. I love the number 7 because everything about me is a 7. I was born on January 7th. The letters of my name work out to a number 7. The letters or the numbers of my birthday all work out to a 7. I wear a size 7 shoe. I'm about 5'7". Everything's 7. All right, that's my number. So yeah, take 7 steps back. But what's interesting about this particular song by this particular artist is that he's using a lot of colloquialisms and slang and language pertaining to this particular community that I'm familiarizing myself with. There's a lot of coded things in his music also. I'll tell you, if you really want to learn about a culture, you learn about the music. Ironically, my middle name is Melody, legally. I didn't come up with it. My parents did. But this particular person also, who's drawn me into this world and who's a bit upset with me as of current because he wanted me to see some things about one person, but it in turn reflected and showed me things about who he is. Oh, people are getting loud because there's a party downstairs. I'm jealous. I'm not going to go to the party today because I got to work, but it's nice to be around that kind of energy. It's light. But anyway, this particular person showed me a lot. Showed me too much. That's what the problem was. Or is. So now I'm seeing everything. Can't close my eyes to it. Did my little research, which showed me even more. Led me to the freaking FBI's interest in the situation. And there's no eradicating the situation. It probably shouldn't be eradicated. If anything, it should be amplified to become common knowledge. And that's fine. Really, I guess what's going to have to happen is that there's going to have to be some sort of an educational system, a framework put into play, which is definitely something I can build, and I already started building it, believe it or not. Because if you're going to do something, you got to do it right. If you're going to have a society, you have to have laws. If you're going to do anything, there has to be a blueprint to it. Otherwise, you can't have chaos. Things start from chaos. Things definitely start from chaos, and that's fine. But the reason we have chaos is because we also have the ability to create organization out of the chaos. So I'm looking at a lot of chaos that is negatively affecting children, killing adults, and that can't be. Not if you're going to have a continuation in society, and not if you're going to continue to use that particular framework of energy. And it's old energy that I'm referring to. It's very old. It's been around for a very long time. But people forgot about it. They ignored it. But now it's back. And being that it's back, I'm not going to say it shouldn't be back. But it needs to be properly organized. So SantaMuerte.wiki, that's going to be the beginning. There will be somebody else, I'm sure many people, who will take that and run with it and create more organization to this energy. But we can't have any sacrificing people on a golden cow again. We're not doing that. In the name of Jesus Christ, we are definitely not doing that. It's actually ironic when I think about it. I'm talking about a golden calf because what are they calling these people that they're attacking? Lol cows? Lol cows. You see the terminology? Cows, owls, skeletons, all these things. Going back to biblical times, babies. We're going back. Everything comes full circle. Anyway, I was talking about this individual's the meaning of his name. The meaning of his name is that who is like God, ? Now that's according to Google. You can Google this. Now he doesn't put the question mark when he talks about the meaning of his name, but there's definitely a question mark there because nobody's like God. Because guess what? Nobody knows who God is. Our minds cannot comprehend it, at least not in this realm. Whether you are perceiving this realm today as the third dimension, possibly the fourth dimension. Hey, maybe if you're super sophisticated, you might be fifth dimension, sixth dimension, seventh dimension. Seventh dimension. I got a nice bag of coffee from this individual from a company known as Seventh Dimension. Seventh. Back to that number 7 again, aren't we? I'm an interesting person. We're all interesting people. What makes me interesting, how can I put it? You've all seen The Matrix, right? Yes. Neo was a remainder of an equation. A remainder. Funny word, remainder. A balance. Something that had to be balanced out. There's a lot of things to where a lot of people from a lot of religions would say I shouldn't be. For some interesting reasons. If you follow me long enough and you know enough about me, you know what those reasons are. No need to go into them today. But I'm here, and I leave a very minimal footprint. Very minimal. A lot of strange things happen to me. A lot of good things happen to me. A lot of things that seem bad end up being good. Had a good conversation today. Had to ride an Uber somewhere to pick up my car because of something that happened that shouldn't have happened. There was no reason for it to happen. It was one of the strangest things, but considering that I just dealt with a very strange situation, which you all publicly saw it over the past couple of days, one day in particular, over the past 24 hours that I documented. over on that IP2 project that I've been working on. That was very strange that I saw what I saw, which is why in my physical, IRL, in real life, physical dimension that I reside within, a certain thing happened to where I had to balance out an equation properly. And I did. I had to reveal some truth. I had to prove some things. I had to show evidence, all within the span of about 6 hours. It would have been devastating to somebody else in my particular circumstance, in my particular situation, in my particular instance, who did not have the knowledge to do so, but I did it. But while I was in the Uber, someone picked me up who ironically was basically an angel in disguise. And I've had that happen twice now in the Houston area. And thank you, Nancy. Thank you. I'm glad that you enjoy my voice and that it's soothing. I think I sound a little raspy at this moment, but if you find me soothing, I am very happy because I'm soothing myself from this morning I've had that tapped into my workday. But the person who was the Uber driver, we had a nice conversation about spirituality and God in this particular city I'm in and things that you got to watch out for. It was meant for him to pick me up. And that's how I know that things are going to be okay. Actually, at the end of the ride, when he dropped me off where I'm staying, I told him, I'm like, he was asking, he was like, how can you laugh about this particular situation that you just related to me about what's going on in your life? And I was like, I have to laugh about it because I know in the end it's all going to be all right. It's all going to be all right because I believe in Jesus Christ. And it's not just me in this car sitting here talking with you, it's Jesus also holding my hand, keeping me calm. And he was like, you know what, I needed to hear that today. And I was like, well, I'm glad it came through me because I needed to hear it too from my own voice. So that's what happened today. I'm not going to go into details about it until later. But I know that because I'm dealing with a certain energy. And, someone was saying, hey, if you don't believe in something, it can't affect you. Well, true. But when you know versus believe, that's a whole different ballpark and a whole different ball game. It just is. So take care, everyone. My battery's about to run out on this device. I got to charge it. But I wanted to come on here today and say that no one is like God because we don't know who God is. Our minds cannot perceive it. Impossible. Now, my name means defender of man. I know what man is and I know what man can be. I believe in the good of man. So I will defend man until the end of time. Man, woman, children, whatever it is. If that's my purpose, if that's why my parents named me Alexandra, fine. Look it up. So take care, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. I actually have a song called It's a Beautiful Sunday. And I will put it in the description of today's podcast as soon as I log off. And I would love for all of you to listen to it. You can also find it on alexandrameyersmusic.com. It's a beautiful Sunday, because it is a beautiful Sunday. And that's a little bit of a personal song for me. So take care. Have a great one. I love you all. And you'll see me around online and offline if you look close enough. Bye-bye.